All right, picture this. It's the first day of class. You get your syllabus, you're scanning for the required reading, and instead of a big, heavy textbook, you see something different. It's not a book at all. It's a code. And here it is in black and white on a real syllabus from the Borough of Manhattan Community College. It's a mandatory purchase, WebAssign's online homework access code. This little line on a piece of paper, that's what we're digging into today. You know, this is a really huge shift when you think about it. We're going from a physical book, something you can hold, highlight, dog-ear, and even sell back, to a digital key, a key that unlocks an entire online world where you're going to do your homework, watch lectures, and get your grades. So you have to buy it. There's no getting around it. But that brings us to the real question, the one that really matters. Does this thing actually help you learn? And that is exactly what we are going to unpack. First up, let's look at the promises these companies are making. So let's dive into the sales pitch. What are companies like WebAssign actually promising schools and professors when they roll out these platforms? Well, if you're a professor, the appeal is pretty obvious. I mean, imagine a world where grading is just done, automatically. That saves countless hours. And students? They get instant feedback on their work instead of waiting a week. Plus, the whole thing is packed with extra resources and tools. It's pitched as this massive upgrade in efficiency. And we're not talking about a small-time operation here. The scale of this is just immense. Platforms like this one have a huge library of content that works with hundreds of different textbooks, meaning they can turn pretty much any course into a digital-first experience. Okay, so that's the shiny sales pitch. But what happens when the rubber meets the road? Let's go back to our case study at the Borough of Manhattan Community College and see what this digital shift looks like in the real world. For students, things can get confusing right away, starting with the price. An FAQ from the college shows that this mandatory code doesn't have one set price. It could be about $55 on a special school website, $65 on the main company site, or even $75 if you buy it directly from WebAssign. For a student on a tight budget, that $20 difference is a really big deal. And you gotta understand, this kind of shift isn't just happening by accident. Behind the scenes, there are formal processes at play. We're looking at actual meeting minutes here, where a department unanimously approved moving entire programs online, making these digital tools more central than ever. And even just getting logged in for the first time can be a hurdle. It's not a simple click. You gotta get a unique class key from your instructor, create an account, verify your payment. I mean, you have to navigate all of this before you can even see the first homework problem. It can be a bit of a maze. So we've seen the pitch and we've seen the process. But now for the most important question. What does the academic research actually say? Do these things really work? Let's start with this first piece of evidence. A study took two groups of calculus students and put them in head-to-head competition. One group did their homework the old-school way, paper and pencil. The other group used an online platform. And the results? Well, they were pretty striking. On both quizzes and the final exam, the students who used the online homework system scored way higher than their peers. We're talking about an average of 81 on the final versus a 72. That is a huge difference. Yeah, the study's conclusion puts it about as plainly as you can. The online group just flat out outperformed the other students on the key tests. But here's something that's really interesting. It went beyond just grades. It actually seemed to affect how students felt about the subject. A full 81% of the students in the online group agreed with the statement, "I like mathematics," compared to only 61% in the traditional group. The system might have actually made math more enjoyable. Okay, now let's move on to a second study. This one zoomed in on the student experience itself. Researchers surveyed nearly 100 university students to see what they really thought about using these web-based homework systems. And this is so revealing. Look at what students said motivated them. Almost 95% said having multiple attempts made them want to practice more. And huge majorities also pointed to the instant feedback and all the available resources. This is the system working exactly as it was designed to. But, and this is a really big but, there's a trade-off. While students were definitely interacting more with the platform, they weren't interacting more with their professor. Only about 17% of them felt the system actually increased their interaction with their instructor. That calculus study even noted that the online students almost never went to office hours. All right, so after looking at the pitch, the reality on the ground, and the research, what's the final verdict on this new digital classroom? Ultimately, it looks like a pretty clear set of trade-offs. On one hand, the research suggests these platforms can lead to some real gains, better test scores, more motivation, maybe even more confidence. But on the other hand, those gains come with real costs. The price confusion for students, the hurdles just to get started, and this pretty significant decrease in direct human interaction with faculty. And that leaves us with a final, really big thought about the future of learning. We're watching this powerful merger between public education and private technology. And as that partnership gets deeper, the one question we have to keep asking is this: how do we make sure that the student, not the system, is always the one who benefits?